Hey, this is Tony with Southern Style. This is part 2 of repairing the AC at my renter house. So I went into Central and got the part like I said they would have. Those guys are really cool. First thing they ask you as soon as you walk in there, do you know this is bad? That's the very first thing they ask you. Because they're like, and if you know what you're doing, you'll know. But if you don't, the cool thing about it is they'll test it. They'll say, yeah, we'll check it for you right now, make sure. And so you ain't, it's a $9 capacitor, but they want to make sure that they're not selling you junk, because they have a policy at that place, I think, that if you plug it up and it don't work and you take it out, they won't take it back. They will not take your stuff back. So, and I'll show you with my voltometer before I install it. Real quick, how it actually works. Not actually how it works, but how it, how the, when I was going across it and it beep, beep, whatever. I'll show you that, and I'll show you installing it, and then I'll hope that I can memorize where the wires went, and we'll take and get it hooked up over there. But they's quick, it's fast. I walked in there and they had it. They don't have all of them, but they have a lot of them. And that's handy to have somebody, someplace to go there like, yeah, we got you. What's a pretty day? It's 84 degrees and it's 9:30 in the morning in Central Kentucky right now. So it's pretty nice, pretty nice weather. It's probably like 90% humidity. I feel like we're in southern Florida. Sticky, like get out, your body instantly gets wet. But I was talking about that house. Since we're on the road, we got about 10 minutes worth of driving. We was talking about the electrical and stuff. That house has got fuses in it. A lot of your old homes have fuses. There's nothing wrong with them. They've been working for years. You can still buy them new at the parts house. When I say parts house, I mean Lowe's, hardware store. Sometimes if you hear me say parts house, I'm talking about, I'm working on cars. I'm talking about going to pick up, like O'Reilly's or something. But anyways, at the hardware store, you can take and you can still buy fuses. I think this house has only got a 60 amp box in it, so it's a really low amperage. And to put that in perspective, that means the house can only pull like 12,000 watts of power, maybe 15,000. I'd have to do the math exact, but it ain't a whole lot. So if you've got, for say your refrigerator pulls 1,400 watts. Most time they don't pull that much, but just say they do. And say your dryer pulls 2,300 watts. Your washing machine pulls, 1,400 watts. Your lights are 60 watt light bulbs. They all pull 60 watts a piece. It adds up pretty quick. If everything's on, your air is cranking. That's why it's so. You have to have the capacitors on these units like this, because when your breaker box can only handle so many watts and so many amps, and it takes so many amps to kick these compressors on. That's why they have capacitors on. And your refrigerators have capacitors on their compressors too. Anything that's got a compressor or a big motor on it that's going to kick on, it's going to have it. So they can go out on those as well as anything else. Normally doesn't on them, but they can. So anyways, this has got fuse set up, 60 amp fuses. Got 2 fuses coming in and 2 fuses going out. I know that sounds weird on it, but the way it's wired is it has a main, and you have 2 wires coming in. It's got, you got 120 volts on each wire. 110, 120, something like that's what it says. And so you have 240 volts coming in, okay? And it runs through those fuses, and then it hits a bus bar that feeds the rest of the little panel. They're little bitty panels, like 9 inches wide and 12 inches tall. Then they have 250 amp, just think 60 coming in, and it's got 250 amp fuses going out to go to a range. And that range normally means dryer and AC. So your dryer and your AC is running off of those. 90% of the time, they're wired together on these old houses. And then it's got a bus bar, and it says 15 amp fuses, they're old screw-in type, little glass ones. And those do all your lights and plug-ins, because there's normally 4 of those. I think there's 4 in this house. So you have 4 circuits to do lights and plug-ins, and 1 range circuit, and 1 in circuit. One main coming in. So that's the way they're always wired. Now, I've seen them wired where people will wire right off of the main on the 60s. They'll wire, on the bus bar where it wires up to go to the rest of it. They'll run the air right there, so that they're not pulling off the 50 amp break on the 50 amp fuses, because they'll wire the 50 amp fuses for the actual range, which is your stove. Your stove takes 50 amps to run it when you turn on the top and the oven together. It takes 50 amps. And this house used to have an electric stove. It used to blow them fuses all the time. And it had hookups for gas. And I was like, why is it doing this? And then it dawned on me, well, this house was built in like the 1937. They didn't have electric on everything then. This is probably original, don't get me wrong. It's probably put in then. But they had gas stove. So I put a gas stove in it, and that helped tremendously. It took all that stress off of them breakers, fuses. So that's how they're wired. Everybody done a little different. The code's kind of funky on them because they're so old and they're grandfathered that you can't really. It's really hard. You're like, well, I think it should go this way. It's the way they did it, So nobody ever cares. But if you touch it a little bit, you gotta have it inspected. So you don't mess with it. It's hooked up. Leave it alone. You go in there and start getting into it. You pull the panel off and start messing with stuff. You're gonna have to have it inspected. And if you have to have it inspected, they're gonna tell you take it out and put a breaker box in. And there's nothing wrong with that. But on an old home, it has electric mast on the outside. That is, because they used to let you take and put your electric mast in. It wasn't even PVC. It was a type of wire that was coated with a UV protectant on the outside of it. Basically what you put in the ground now. And they would just run that right up the side of the house with some little ties, little metal straps, and then they put a weatherhead like kind of thing on it. Bam. That's how this house is done. It's a very old home. But if you touch that on the inside, then you have to replace that on the outside. So everything, it has to be replaced. And as long as it's working and nothing's, shorting out or grounding out or, cause anything to be energized or whatever, you just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't touch it, because it's going to cost you, I'd have $1,000 or better in replacing that on the outside of the house. By the time I put a breaker box in, run a bunch of breakers, and because nowadays you got to have GFI on every freaking thing. And, by the time you do all that, you'll have tons of money into it. And it's like, is it worth it? Yeah, I'm sure it is somewhere down the line, but not today. Not in my budget right now. So just kind of give you a rundown how the wiring goes. That's why whenever I put this up, I'm gonna be very adamant to tell him to not leave the window units on anymore. Turn them off after the air's weren't running, because it puts such a strain on the electric, because you got 2 more air conditioning units running. It won't survive. You can't, if the air's not running outside, fine, run the window units. Once the air's running, circulating cold air in the house, turn the window units off, because it just can't handle the load on the electric service. And I'll show it to you what I'm talking about. This, it's got an old school meter. It's a meter base. It's got everything, but it's not real. It's not real, heavy duty like they are now. Like my house, we built our house a couple years ago. Right when COVID hit, we was building our house, and I got 400 amp in my house. That's 2 200 amp services. Two 200 amp breaker boxes. And that's just because it was like, well, it wasn't but like a couple $100 to throw an extra breaker box in there and put a bigger meter base in. The wire going out to shoot, it's that bigger rail going out to the pole. It's huge. Because I just thought, well, you're gonna build it. You never know what I'm gonna do. I may go buy equipment and put lathes and everything else in my garage. I got a pretty good sized garage. Do whatever I want to with it. But a little house like this, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. They're not gonna have big equipment in here, so they don't need a whole lot. But Kool-Aid drink mixes, I drink them all the time. They're not good for you, but they do taste good. All right, all I need to fix this is the knowledge. messing with you. All I need to fix this is my photometer, and I'm gonna show you real quick that and a pair of adjustable wrench. It only has 2 little screws holding it all together. So you get some close-ups, man. You're probably looking at my nose right now. I had to leave it on that side, didn't I? Okay. All right. Let's see if I paused you. Nope. Cool. All right, back again. All right. I'm not very good with the camera thing. But here we are. I'm gonna show you these things real quick. I've got the old one, I've got the new one. There's the old one. The new one's still in the box. Probably should have done this in the parking lot. You put it to there, right there. You see where I got it on there? And you push the yellow button. Okay, and now it's saying, now it's whenever it does the whole. All right, so the new one, we'll open this box up. This is the new one. They look identical. You take it and you do this. Uh-oh. I'm wrong, ain't I? Why am I not? I guess I'm retarded. Maybe it isn't bad. Uh-oh. See? Let me see. I didn't check the ohms on it. This is going to be one of the things I probably should have. All right, let's go back to ohms. Let me push this Ferrite thing. It's 4 to there. L to there. 4 to there. There it is. No. 30. Okay, between this one and this one, it should show 30 on this one. Okay, so I'm gonna try to set it up here so you can see it. I didn't double check it. I probably should have double checked, but it is bad, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this so you can watch this. Okay, the new one, if you go between this one, between the 2 and the 3, okay, and you have a 30 on there, right? It says it's a 30 something something. And this is where I got hooked up, between the 2 and the 3, right here. Okay, well, not that one. It's this one here, maybe. Yeah, between the 3 and the 4 one, it gives you 30, okay? And then between the 2 and the 3, you get 4, okay? So the 2 and the 3 right here, I should get 4. I got my 4. And then between this one and this one, which that's your Ranger compressor, I got 4. No, it's this one, that. See, pay attention. Oh, it's good. Well, it's testing good now, ain't it? Ain't that weird? Uh-oh, that's bad news. I wasn't testing that a while ago. I wasted my time. 4. 4. Nope. I guess I wasted my time. I should have paid more attention to my class when I was learning it. So I just bought a part, drove over for nothing. That's good. That's fantastic. But I didn't put it on. That's the main thing. Let's go plug it up and see if it works. If it don't, then I'm in again. I shouldn't even talk to y'all on a video. Now I'm up shit's creek. Maybe it just froze up. I've replaced that capacitor many times. I just fixed it. It just makes me automatically. All right. I probably should have tested more stuff. I guess now I get to test and see if I got power out here, because it could have blown the fuses in there, couldn't it? That puts me going to another store. Push it in like that. See? That's what I get for jumping the gun. I said it out loud whenever we started this. I'll put that on there. Plug it in here. 240 volts. Can you see that? So we know that's good. So we got power out here. And then we got power out here. Then we should be able to hook this thing up like it's supposed to be. Make sure these are good. Everything's tight. Yeah, it all looks good there. Okay. Alright, let's plug it all back up. Alright, this is as far as I can take you because I can't remember what went where. So I'm going to have to go back to the other video. Alright guys, I thank you for watching. And I'm going to video after I plug it up to see how it plugs up. And I'll do a part 3 of this. Thank you.